I don't think anyone understands how badly I want this. Like, the 80s are everything. Hello there everyone, KoiningD here, welcome back to another video. Today, I am here with yet again a video about The Sims 4 80s stuff. So this is a render made by my friend on Twitter, Katie or Casey. She has been in videos before, and I have credited her with a bunch of things before. Now hear me out, before you leave, because this is fan-made, I have some really solid ideas for this. So in the last video, we kind of just reviewed the other renders that she made, which were like create a sim renders, so they was just style. But in this one, we are kind of focusing on what kind of game aspects that we would get with 80s stuff, because, you know, what would you get with 80s stuff? You know, you don't really know. So the first thing we are going to delve into is fangirling and things like that. So obviously, you know, everybody, we've been fans of music since the beginning of time, but really the 80s and mostly the 70s too, when music started becoming portable, is when fangirling started really becoming a thing. So I think it would be cool for them to add into the game, like they have with Parenthood, how your children can go through a phase, like the bear costume phase, which is my least favorite. I hate it. Like, if your teens would go through a phase in which they would like stan, which is like to be a really big fan of this music artist. So like, for example, this girl has a poster of whatever that guy's name is on the wall there, like something like that. I think it would be really cool. I also think, looking at this picture, it would be really cool if we could have the leg warmers, and then we probably mentioned it in the last video, but I'm just going to bring it back up, the leg warmers, and the bow, and the curly, definitely full, thick, poofy hair. My parents grew up in the 80s, so I've seen pictures of them, and oof, it was rough. Not just them, but, you know, it's just the 80s in general. And then last but not least, in this picture, what I'm looking at is the landline. So no one has landlines anymore. If you are too young and you don't know what a landline is, it is the phone that she's holding in her hand with a cord. Yes, those existed. You know, even though this is 80s stuff, and you might be like, you know, what if you're older, because I know some people are older watching my videos, you're probably like, you know, oh, what do you know? So first of all, I was born in 2001. I'm 17. But I feel like I'm not like a 2000s kid. I mean, I am by birth, but like, I feel like I am just as much as a 90s kid as a lot of other 90s kids, and 90s kids are low-key like almost 80s kids. Like, you know, like the TV shows where it's like, oh, only 90s kids would understand. Like, that's me. I understand it too. Like, I understand absolutely everything. And I feel like if you're born 2003 onward, then, you know, you're a 2000s kid. But if you're born in the beginning of this century, then whatever, you guys, or not century, no, yes, no, you get it, you get what I'm trying to say. So the landline, even though they're not so popular today anymore, I think it would be really cool to have back in the game, because it is 80s stuff. You know, it would work the same way as the phone in your pocket, but like, teens and kids really shouldn't be having phones on them anyways, because, you know, you really should be getting your phone when you're a teenager, not when you're like in kindergarten. So like, to have a landline, I think it would be really useful, and especially for like elders. Like, no elder cares about a cell phone really. Like, so to have a nice landline and it be related to the 80s would be really cool and nostalgic, and I think it would be a really, really, really cool idea. Okay, so now we're going to talk about games. We are going to talk about Simon, Pocket Simon, or Simon Says, and a Rubik's Cube. I think these are just two really simple new toys and games that they could add into the game, and they can even like challenge friends, maybe pass around the Pocket Simon or pass around the Rubik's Cube, and it would just, you know, be different ways of building the logic skill, because, you know, these are very 80s toys. But as many of you guys obviously watching this video might know what the Simon Says things are, and the Rubik's Cube, obviously. But yeah, these are 80s toys, and I think it would be really cool. So next one is really cool, and I just thought of it. It is these magazines. So everyone knows what Tiger Beat is. I feel like at some point in your life, we all read it for sure. Like, look at that Bon Jovi back in high school in the bottom left. I just went to a Bon Jovi concert. Like, it's just Michael J. Fox, like from Back to the Future. This is just the epitome of teenage girls, really. So I love this idea to have in The Sims. So basically, kind of like getting a newspaper in The Sims 3 where it would be delivered to your door, or it would just be in the mail, and you would get it like every other week or every week or so. And as they read that magazine, it would build different kinds of skills each week. So maybe, like, you know, depending on the articles that they read, they would get different kinds of skills. And then in each thing, they would also get advice, and they would learn life advice. So maybe to go along with parenthood, they would gain some like character values, and they might gain some manners, they might lose some manners from taking some of those risque quizzes that they have in these teen magazines. And as well, it would build the fangirling skill, I guess you would say. Like, I wouldn't really call fangirling a skill, but it's just like, you know, your level of fangirl for, you know, different artists and things like that. And then you could also, you know, share it with your friends, you know, read it together. And yeah, I just think it would be a lot of fun. And you could find out different things from these books. Like, some teen girls believe that all of these little things that they have in there, like what are those little quizzes, like, oh, does my crush like me? Like, maybe your Sims could learn a bit or two about it, and it would definitely be able to build some skills. I don't know which skill, but, you know, like, just different ones every week I think would be really cool. Last but not least is probably one of the most iconic things that came out of the 80s is a Walkman. So a Walkman is basically the first bit of MP3 player iPod that you could ever imagine. Before, like, this is when music started becoming portable. If you guys watch Guardians of the Galaxy, that's probably the most modern example of a Walkman. Or 13 Reasons Why, Clay uses a Walkman to listen to the tapes. So it's basically like you put a cassette player in there. I did have my mom's car had a cassette player when I was growing up. We had VHS tapes when we were growing up. All of my VHS tapes, like movies from my childhood, they're all VHS. None of them are DVD. So I am of, you know, still like this, you know, rewinding and, you know, rewinding the reel, like on the VHS tape kind of era, I guess, like right towards the end of it. So I really do think this would be cool. And then, if possible, it would be really cool if they had like a music store that you can go to, but that's highly unlikely. So kind of like imagine it as if they were seeds, or as if they were like a Void Critter where you could trade and you could, like, you know, ask for your friend's cassette player. Because really, when you have a Walkman, and especially when music was really starting to become big and portable like this, like, there was no streaming back then, obviously. So, you know, once you listen to a cassette, or once you listen to it, you really might not listen to it again. You might put it in your collection and collect them, or you may, you know, trade with your friends and give it to your friends. And also, maybe the cassette players could also become delivered to your house, because I know that was a service back in the day too, even in the early 90s, where you would have like cassettes delivered to your house, you know, via a monthly fee with a different company and whatnot. But I also think it would be cool for you to just be able to order it online, and once again, building that fangirl skill and kind of just falling in love with, not falling in love literally, but like with a certain singer. And I don't know, I just think that this is a really interesting approach on an 80s stuff pack, because it's just different. But I don't know, let me know in the comments down below what you think about my ideas. I know I rambled on for quite a bit today, but I had some really strong ideas. I literally saw the render on Twitter. It's a new render from her, and I was like, oh, I have to make this video. And then boom, 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 everything just popped in my head, and I knew I had to ramble. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like. It's a big help. I would like to apologize. You guys might notice that my videos have been a little lackey lately. It's because I get home at 9 o'clock every single night after doing, like, today it was 9:45. I got home from doing play practice. I have play practice. My musical, school musical, is this Friday. I have a lead role in it, and it's really stressful, so I really don't have a lot of time. But once that is done, after this weekend, I will be back to regular scheduled programming and more live streams. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like. It's a big help, and I will see you guys all again next time. Goodbye. Woo.